Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear minded of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now welcome back to Reframe Myself Podcast. My name is Carson Brooks. I know this episode we're going to talk about, I guess, roaches and ants because I said we're in the second year now, and the first year we accomplished a lot being a home, an official homeowner and stuff like that. I know the second year we're starting off, and because we put in the work the first year, the second year we're starting off on a positive note because if you realize I'm starting out the new year, the second year being an employee, so I have income and stuff like that. So certain things like I could pay some of the bills now on my own through my own work. And so over time I'm slowly becoming the stereotypical, I guess, man of the home, or I don't know, the leader of the home. Like as I mean what I said in the past in the when I said it was like the CEO of my home. When I'm becoming more of a CEO because I'm doing doing all the getting all the hard tasks done. So in the second year now, what we have now is basically roaches and ants because they have been giving me issues from when. And the thing about I think a weird thing about it is that you can't pinpoint where they start. That's the thing. It's wild, bro. It's wild. No matter what you do, it's like they can't die. They just find a way. But what happened was the first year I did cleaning the backyard really solved a lot of the road problem. And then what happened was I kinda moved certain things, like for example the garbage, I moved it certain places to actually deal with the roaches. So what happened in the second year, I still have the problem, but what happened is that I did a lot to kind of remove the problem. So the next thing would be like, for example, it would be like I guess cleanliness is one I have to really get more cleanliness. And I guess if you remember what I said in the first year of the episode, in that the first year would be like you, for example, hiring professionals or stuff like that or people to do certain stuff. In the second year, I could actually do that as well because I have income and such. I have income, and I could hire someone to actually deal with this problem and get it fixed. But I also could actually just do my take my time to actually diagnose the problem. So I could just actually just yeah go in and solve the problem real quick. So I don't call the person and then they just come and then just do their little small job and then and then when it leaves the problem isn't really fixed. What happened is that I could actively search for the problem to find a root cause. Sim- and then when I actually find the root cause, I could actually accomplish the task itself and stuff like that. So what this phase would be like, I would have to try to find out what is really causing these ants and stuff to appear. What am I doing? Is it me? Is it my doing, or is it something out of my control and stuff like that? So that's basically how the second year being a homeowner will go to be like where all of the issues know what I'm going to face. I'm just going to find out is it my bad habits or habits that is causing this, or is it some other things that is causing this? Is something out of my control, and based on what I find out, I can actually solve both sides. I could solve both sides and just get rid of the problem. Get rid of the problem. Or I guess I can't really. You may be not able to get rid of the problem, but you can really minimize it a lot. Like there's a lot of stuff that I learned during my first year, which I could apply in my second year. So that's basically it for this episode. Now that's something you may actually have to deal with, which is roaches and ants, roaches and ants. And you can put rats in there as well. Rats. As I said, no place, no place is perfect. They all come with their problems. But the thing about it is that what the difference between a good place and a better place is you actually put in the work to actually try to solve the problem. Because everybody can complain about the rats and roaches and stuff like that. If you actually put in the work to actually say, okay, let me just actually put some effort in trying to maybe solve this problem a little bit. In you never know. By the third year, all of the rat issues, it will be it will be easy. If you see a rat, you're like, oh, I know how to solve that real quick. If I see a roach, boom, I know how to solve that real quick. I see the ants, I know how to solve that real quick. So that's what the second year would be like. Would be for would be me seeing the problem, taking my time to find out the root cause, then find a solution, so that if I reach the third year now, the third year would be easy. I would be like I would be like a great supervisor. For example, suppose in my third year I got my family and stuff. I start my own family and stuff like that. I'm in the home. Be like as a it should come. I will be like the actual man of the house, for my stereotypical wife. I would be like that man of the house. That I would be able to play the man role in the wife place accurately, because for these first 2 years I've been practicing. I've been practicing. So that's it. So basically these stereotypical men that you see in this great wife and relationship, these stuff that I'm teaching you, they learned it. Maybe they learned it on their own, or they learned it from their fathers or stuff like that. So this podcast is me telling you so that regardless if you know one teacher or not, you're aware of it, and then you can actually put in effort so that you can start it by yourself. And I mentioned that, and the reason why I mentioned that is because I've gone through life. I've gone through life. I was a young person as well. I'm still young. Yeah, I'm still young, but I'm in that phase where I'm not. There are people younger than me, so it's it's kind of iffy. It's kind of iffy now. So I'm in that weird phase now. But what I say is, I've been I've been young and I've gone through life. I was pretty sheltered and such like that. So when I grew up and going through school, are the people who are more exposed. And the reason why they're more exposed is that, compared to where my family was when I started, when I was born and growing up, compared to where their family would be, I would be ahead. And not ahead because my family was putting the work a long time more, or more longer. I may would say longer. You know, so I'm reaping the benefits of my family's sacrifice. So when I was growing up, but most of my other friends maybe never got the full benefit, so they had to learn a lot of, like for example, housework, clean up. They have to clean up their wash their own clothes. They have to do all those stuff. Do all those stuff. So I never really had to do that. So it never really was an issue. But what happened was they learned how to take care of themselves from a young age. And what I had to do was over time learn as I basically was stripped away of that shelteredness. So as I become less sheltered and more exposed to the world, those stuff that people were learning from early, I have to actually start applying it. And I realize in the podcast as well, certain things that you may say like, oh, bro, So we know this already and stuff like that. But because of the way I was growing up, I was grow sheltered. So most of these stuff I never exposed to it. But now what happened is I'm telling you again, and I'm telling you in a different way because you know I'm telling you in a different way because ideally, if you listen to the 2022 segment of the podcast, you'll hear the idealistic way I speak about stuff, and that's still me in 2023. I speak about things idealistically. So what how I think about it is that if I have abundance, if I had an abundance of money, things could be done a certain way. But because I don't have abundance of money, what happened is I'm telling you the vision. I'm telling you the vision of how things will go, and you then in the future you'll see if it actually went that way or not. Or if it doesn't went that go that way, you will learn. I will find out why, and then the podcast future episode will kind of explain to you why it didn't go that way and why how I readjust and such like that. No, so that's basically how this phase of the second year is gonna go. So I did all the stuff that I needed to actually bring down the cost of living at home. So the next this year will be like kind of actually able to, so I could actually maintain the home, so I could actually afford. So this second year will be me trying to focus on be able to afford the home. So instead of me saying unofficial homeowner, I will be saying an official homeowner, so a homeowner. And uh, why would I say? Because I why was I always saying unofficial homeowner? The whole of the first year was because I it's not me fully it's not me fully um maintaining the whole home. I was assistant for my family and all those stuff. So it wasn't me officially being a home person. So over what happened was it was me basically living here. So it was me basically had to deal with all of the stuff here. So it was like me. It was like unofficially a homeowner, but I was still getting assistance. So I wasn't officially that person would say, okay, yes, it's my place yet. But what happened is that there are steps for me to slide into that now. So boom, I'm an employee now. I'm employed now. I have income now. So I'm able to afford one of the bills, and then eventually I could afford the next bill. Then I could afford boom. So it's like this year will be focused on just trying to get that, and then maybe God's willing, if we make it to the end of 2023, you will hear something like, "Yes, I'm an official homeowner now because I have this." And you'll see it in the future updates as well. But that's basically it for this episode. This is something you will have to deal with regardless. I think regardless. Like, or if you're starting your home from if you're building your dream home, this is one of the things you will have to deal with. Maybe it's ants, roaches, anything, rats, anything. There's something you have to deal with, and you have to find out how to solve it. I think about it is that I mentioned last in one of my last episode, quality over quantity. The quality solution, you may not be able to afford it in the first year, but you have the quantity how to deal with it. You have cheaper way to actually deal with it. Yeah, that's maybe if it that bad, you may have to use the cheap way to patch through, but always know what is the quality option is so that you can work towards getting that quality option. Because when you get the quality option, then you're able to solve the problem. And I mentioned that a future episode is going to really expound on that as well. Well, not really for this thing, but the quality versus quantity. Yeah. So that's basically it. And I just want to mention this phase of the podcast is what is it's really going to be interesting because what happened that you're going to hear the when you hear these episodes, you're going to listen to the previous episode and be like, wow, I can see the difference. I can see the difference. So that's the weird part. That's going to be the most interesting part about this phase of the podcast. So thanks for listening and look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, This is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
But the night week experience, bro. A night week. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not going to lie, bro. That night week was was a trial. I can record in this at the end of the night week, bro. And it has been a trial, bro. It has been a trial. Like I'm glad I make it out. But bro, they had me in the hot seat the whole week. Because what happened was like that night week. So yeah, if you'd have known, when I started out with a team and the team made it to the underjob training. Well, most of the team. And we were there, but what happened was that we were placed in like a smaller team, like a team of four. And what will happen now every day, we have the team leader command us basically train us and after the skills that we need to do.